Hello everyone, this is Pooja Rawat and today we will revise our history first chapter how, when and where. We will revise its key points. So, our first point is history is certainly about changes that occur over a period of time. It is about finding out how things were in past and how they have changed. Means in history we basically read that how things were in past and how it changed. Means how our lifestyle is changed and how we are using things now. The date we select, the date around which we compose our history of the past are not important on their own. They became vital because we focus on a particular set of events as important. In 1817, James Mill, a Scottish economist and political philosopher, published a massive 3 volume work, A History of British India. In this, he divided Indian history into 3 periods: Hindu, Muslim, and British. This periodization came to be widely accepted. Next point, we try and divide history into different periods of capture. The characteristics of time and its central feature as they appear to us. Means we can divide history uh, in different period that appear to us. Means that is central feature of it. Moving away from British classification, historians have usually divided Indian history into ancient, medieval, and modern. See, ancient, medieval, and modern. This is a very clear and right division of history. One important source of Indian history is official record of British administration. The Britishers believed that the act of writing was important. Every instructions, plans, policy, decision, agreement, and investigation had to be clearly written up. Means they write everything. And now the written documents are our historical proof. We use them to as a historical proof. Means what whatever they have written, whatever their diaries, their books, their official record, their letters, they, everything, it all is a historical report for us. Letter and memos that moved from one branch of the administration to another in the early year of the 19th century can still be read in the archives. Means they are well preserved, they are archived. In the early year of 19th century, these documents were copied out and beautifully written by calligraphists. You know that who were calligraphists? Calligraphists were those people who used to write a very beautiful handwritings. By the middle of the 19th century, with the spread of printing, multiple copies of these records were printed as proceeding of each government department. The practice of surveying also became common under the colonial administration. Means people started surveying, people started survey things. Means now their administration and the British government started doing surveys because surveys help them to understand the real condition of the country, real condition of the people. So what if they want to implement a new law, if they want to implement a new law in their country, so they become a survey. By the early 19th century, detailed surveys were being carried out to map the entire country. If you want to know the number of the people, the population, educated people, so they can do a survey. These records tell us what the official thought, what they were interested in, and what they wished to preserve for posterity. They, these records always help us understand what other people in the country felt and what lay behind their action. As as printing spread, newspapers were published and issues were debated in public. Leaders and reformers wrote to spread their ideas. Poets and novelists wrote to express their feeling. Means printing press helps us a lot to understand the situation of our country at that time. In British period, by the printing press and by the newspaper, by the magazines, we are able to know that what are happening in our country, what Britishers are doing, um, what are our rights, and what we can do to improve the situation of our country. Means printing press play a very important role to make India free from Britishers. Now, by the printing press, people started to spread their views, their opinions about British government and about Indian culture, about India. So, printing press was a very important invention at that time, and it also helped us. So now you can understand that there are some very important key there these are some very important key points of these chapters, and uh, I again want to say that we have read that key James Mill divided Indian history into three parts: Hindu, Muslim, and British. It was not a very broad division of history. So it was not accepted by all. So later, Indian history was divided into three parts by the historians. It was ancient, medieval, and modern, and this division was accepted widely: ancient, medieval, and modern. In ancient history, you read about ancient India. In medieval, it was about British rule, and in modern history, it is about Indian freedom. So now you can understand that how we divide our history. We divide our history in this part because through this division we can read our history very easily, we can understand it very easily, and this division is very important because if uh, history is history is endless. Means so to read it easily, to understand it easily, we have to divide it into small parts. So one important source of Indian history is the official record of the British administration. Means you know that before this printing press and the habit of writing everything, and people were not interested in writing their history and writing their records, but Britishers were very interested about writing everything. So they want to make a record of their administrative work, so they write everything and they preserve it. So now their writings, their books, their journals, everything they have written, it become a very important source of history for us. Now we will solve some very important question of this chapter, and this question will help you to understand this chapter very clearly, and these are some objective type question. So our first question is: who was asked by Robert Clive to produce map of Hindustan. Uh, so options are Daniel, James Rennet, James Mill, William Durant. Right answer of this question is James Rennet. Now you will ask, who was James Rennet? So James Rennet was a historian, and James Rennet was a historian, so he need the map of Hindustan to write its history. Our second question is, some historians have divided Indian history into medieval, modern, colonial, ancient, medieval, colonial, ancient, medieval, modern, ancient, modern, colonial. So the right answer of this is ancient, medieval, and modern. Uh, Ancient, medieval, and modern. This is a very broad and very clear division of history, and by this division, we can understand history very clearly. Now, our third question is, colonization means conquest of one country by another, subjugation of one country by another country, subjugation of one country by another leading to political, social, and economic changes, economic exploitation of one country by another. So its right answer is third, C, means subjugation of one country by another leading to political, social, and economic changes. It happened in colonization. A country is subjugated by another country by and it leads its political, social, and economic changes, means totally occupy a country. Now our fourth question is, autobiographies are account of people written by, means who wrote autobiography? Historian, calligraphist, by other people, or themselves? Autobiography. So basically autobiography was written by themselves, means wrote we can write our autobiography by ourselves. So the right answer of this question is themselves. Now our next question is, historians at present do not write about how people earned their livelihood, what was produced, how market came up, kings and battle. So the right answer is how market came up. Means on this topic, historians do not write anything. Next question is, calligraphists are the people of who were. You have asked this question previously. Who were calligraphists? Now, first option, write official account, are specialized in art and painting, are specialized in the art of beautiful handwriting, or illustrate manuscripts. So right answer of this question is, are specialist in the art of beautiful handwriting. Next question, many historians refer to British period in India as modern, colonial, political subjugation, economic exploitation. So right answer is colonial, means we can say that British period was a colonial period because they occupied our country and they subjugated it economically, politically, everything. Next question, census means what is census? So official enumeration of the population after every 10 years. This is the right answer, means in every 10 year we count our population, and this is called census. Next question, the last viceroy of India was, who was the last viceroy of India? So you know that Lord Mountbatten was the last viceroy of India. Which of the following were not the source of information of the British administration? Diaries of India. Diaries of India are not the source of British administration.